Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Bored and Annoyed. It's our first, I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but classic film series review.
This is the classic film series segment.
That's what we'll go with for now.
Yeah, Bored and Annoyed with classics.
Ooh.
Bored and Annoyed.
I have a feeling we're rarely going to be bored and annoyed with them, though.
Maybe.
You know? Yeah. So
maybe I was this time around.
Oh, jeez. I can imagine this being. It's so long. We're talking about Lawrence of Arabia today.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite movies. If I wasn't such a Star Wars fan and I didn't love The Empire Strikes Back and think that it was perfect, I would say this is the best movie ever made.
Wow.
Yes. On a technical level, on a character level, it's just, I can't believe that it got made. I don't know if I would go that far. Now, it's impressive for the time it's made, absolutely. But I don't know if I would go as far as like the best movie ever made. I would.
That's fine.
I would.
That's fine. I guess you could make that argument.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, just from... But yeah, anyways, Lawrence of Arabia.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and just tell the people
Yes.
what Lawrence of Arabia is about. Now, this is going to, and every episode that we do like this, is going to be ridden with spoilers.
Yeah.
So, spoilers abound.
Yeah.
Just expect spoilers. Anything can come up at any time.
Yep.
But yeah, the movie is about a lieutenant for the British Army named T.E. Lawrence in World War I. He was kind of doing cartography, kind of a nothing job back at headquarters in Cairo, Egypt.
Yep.
They were at odds with the Turks.
Yep.
And basically they sent Lawrence out to be sort of a liaison to try and, get a sense of what was going on between the Arab tribes and the Turkish army.
Yep.
He goes out there, basically ends up befriending a few different high-powered people within these Arab tribes that are all kind of at odds with each other. They're so at odds with each other that their best interest isn't necessarily being fulfilled.
Right.
And he tries to bring them together and unite them against the Turks so that they can have their land back.
Yep.
And he almost takes on a sort of he takes on the form of almost like a deity to these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's based on a true story. T.E. Lawrence was a real guy.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's based on a book called The 7 Pillars of Wisdom. It's his autobiography.
Oh, okay.
And bits of it were left out, but we'll get into he actually was captured by the Turks in that one part where the creepy rapey
yes,
the
fancy
Turkish
man
guy.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a very interesting story because you watch it and it's like that it feels like almost timeless to that region where it's like we can never get those people to get along, and like why are we trying to force these people to get along? Yeah, right. I mean, it's not. I mean. Say what you will. It's a very chaotic part of the world.
Right. It does. You're right. It is a little timeless in that regard. And it's also timeless in the whole, why are we interfering? Why is it always a Caucasian country that's coming in trying to mess with this?
And that's dealt with. There are characters that mention that, oh, well, no,
I think a great thing about the movie is the fact that they bring that up. And a lesser movie made at this time would not.
Sure.
It would have been very much. Now, there is an angle to it that's sort of the white savior sort of thing. Kind of like, Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai.
I actually like that movie.
I do too.
It's underrated.
The only thing that bothers me is that why does it have to be a white guy who's the last samurai? But I mean, I think it's a well executed. But anyways, getting back to Lawrence of Arabia, it is nice to see that they complicated the issues quite a bit, and they didn't make the British look like perfect white people trying to save the day.
So there's two ways that they could have gone that would have been irritating.
Yeah.
Every British person is an asshole.
Yeah.
They're just trying to, fuck these people over, which they are.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yep.
Lawrence's higher ups, we'll say.
Yeah.
And then you could do the opposite, which is like, oh, these Arabians, like, they could never make it without,
Yeah.
you know, and neither of those are, they're both used, like both of those are issues that are delved into within the movie.
But I don't think one is given preference over the other.
I don't either.
I think they're both sort of offered up as two sides of the same coin of reality.
Correct. Regarding this movie, just some details. This was a David Lean film. He also did Dr. Zhivago back then. He did a movie called The Bridge on the River Kwai. He was a specialist at these big epics, you know, like 3-hour long movies, whatever. This one is actually 3 hours and 37 minutes long plus intermission.
Yeah, it kind of feels it.
Yeah, well, it's long. I mean, you need to. It's one of those where get comfortable. Be in a comfortable place and watch it. Use that intermission.
Yeah,
you know. But to me, it's a very you get a lot out of watching this. There are scenes in this. It's all filmed in the Arabian desert.
Yeah.
They took months and months to film this movie, and some of the things that are crazy are like you'll have these sets. They'll have a shot of like the desert, and there's probably 500 or something extras, horses, whatever.
Yeah.
And you just imagine that, like, if the fucking camera broke in the middle of filming one of these scenes, like, you would have to reset everybody.
Yeah.
You'd have to send someone out to sweep the sand.
Yeah.
To get the footprints back out of it.
Yep.
I mean, everything in this movie is done at a scale you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
You know, for the time it was filmed.
Yes, that's why it's a monument. It's a monumental achievement,
right,
in filmmaking. So you're talking about the scale. Yeah, I mean, one of the first things you notice is they very clearly didn't use sets. They went to real locations.
Oh,
they
yeah.
got real people. And you can feel it in the scale in which the wide shots are amazing.
Oh, they're insane. Yeah.
I would say the cinematography is maybe outside of maybe the thematic complications and the complexities of the narrative. I would say maybe the cinematography is the single greatest thing about the movie.
I would say that's a fact.
Okay.
I think in 5 years or whatever, 6 months from now, when you think of this movie, you're not going to care about the story. And that's what's interesting too. And if you ever watch it again, you'll notice this, but every time you watch this movie, it's like you're watching it for the first time. It's really fucking bizarre. Like, you have images in your head of certain things. Like, like there's a great cut in it where Lawrence blows out a match, and it cuts like direct cut to the sun coming up. And it's like, motherfucker had to be, I mean, you had to get the shot of that sunset.
Yeah.
You know, and then that had to be cut like on one of those old machines.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's ridiculous.
It was really, that's the shot, that's the single like scene transition that I'll probably remember from this movie forever, because I was like, wow, to see that in a film at that time, nobody was doing that then.
Right.
That was, I was like, this is something that you'd hardly see now as far as the scene transition.
I mean, can you imagine? I watched some of the, you know, in preparation for this episode, I watched some of the special features online and stuff, and them talking about it. Apparently, the editor for that, forget the woman's name, but she basically worked 16-hour days, 7 days a week for months.
Wow.
To edit the movie. You know, and he never felt like it was finished. When it finally got sent out at the deadline, like, it wasn't up to par as far as he, you know. So.
That's atrocious work hours.
Yes, that's awful.
That's not okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you see interviews with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, greatest thing she ever did, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's stuff like that. There's a scene in the movie that's famous as hell. There's a character, his name is Sheriff Ali. He's played by Omar Sharif.
Oh, he's great.
And he's so good, yeah. But his introduction, like,
Yeah.
Lawrence and this little Bedouin guy or whatever who he's had like kind of escorting him. He's trying to take him to the Arabs to have this conversation.
And
they're at a well.
Yeah, narratively, you actually think that this guy he's going to be maybe a bigger player in the movie. The guy who's escorting him.
Yes.
You're like, wow, they take time to build like this relationship between them, and they seem like they're like actually becoming friends upon this journey.
Yes. Yeah. And then Omar Sharif is introduced.
Yes.
And it's a very famous scene. Basically, it's a wide shot, hundreds of yards away.
Yeah.
Is Omar Sharif on this horse, and he's coming. And in the distance, it's so far away that like on a smaller TV, like maybe how people would watch this at home like 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have even been able to see him. I mean, it's like pixels.
Yeah.
And the shot holds and he comes forward and he's in a mirage. So you see him and like the reflection of him in this mirage.
Yeah.
It's like it's a fucking real mirage. They had to film mirages in this movie.
Yeah.
They had to do things like paint a white line 2 feet wide from the camera out into the distance. That's how they did the depth. They had holes dug in the ground that they put these smoke pots in, like these steam pots.
Yeah.
So you would see like the rippling effect of the heat, like you know what I'm saying?
Wow, really? I mean, that's how they did that?
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
I mean, I can't imagine them coming up with this. Now, meanwhile, all these locations are real. Like where the movie takes place is where it was filmed.
Right.
So they had people out, production assistants and stuff, out scouting these locations for, days-long trips into the desert.
Yep.
What the fuck? You can't do this now. This movie would never be made now.
Right.
Well,
certainly not like this.
No, it would be a CGI. Oh, we need a hill. We need this many people. Like, oh, okay, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
But you feel that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And, I don't know. That's why I think this one, just from a technical level, it's unsurpassed and it never will be matched, in my opinion.
I would say as far as like stylistically for the time period, I think it goes based on what you're looking for out of cinematography. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying, like, okay, like Lord of the Rings, you probably had a shitload of extras and you went and you filmed on location or whatever.
Right.
Okay. But it was easier.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
It was easier and
You're saying as far as like the work that went into and the amount of people and the manpower, it will
Correct.
probably never be
surpassed. You can feel that though.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you'll ever feel that again for a movie. Now I feel sometimes like the special effects stuff where I'm like, God damn, that's amazing. Like how genius of whoever, whatever artist did this is crazy.
That's a really interesting thing to think about is now it's no longer extras sweating out in the desert. It's nerds sweating in a computer room.
Right. Yeah.
So there might actually be possible that there's the same amount of man hour. It's just it's just not the same.
Oh God, I'd have to look it up, but the Revenge of the Sith Blu-ray has a special feature that counts the total amount of man hours that goes into I think it's like a minute-long scene or something of the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Okay.
And it's millions of hours between, if you're counting like the people who make the food and the people who do this and the people who do that and just everything. It is insane. So I do think they need more credit. I mean, we like to shit on these CGI fests.
Right.
We do.
Right.
Rightfully so. In a lot of instances.
I think the problem is it's always going to be special effects over a character will make you hate the
Correct.
CGI movies. CGI is just a tool. It needs to be used accordingly.
And now here's the case. In this movie, we're talking a lot about the cinematography, the work that went into it.
Right.
I still think it has strong characters.
Yes.
Lawrence himself is like larger than life. He's just a super, he's an interesting character.
He's very unique. He's a bit of a fancy boy.
Yes.
And he's a bit effeminate.
Right. Well, at first you really like him. He seems like his heart's in the right place and whatever. Right. But then too many people are giving him a pat on the back.
Yep.
He starts to enjoy that.
He starts becoming very cocky.
Yes.
And it's It is off-putting, and he almost starts believing that he is that deity or whatever.
Absolutely does. The scene before he gets captured is a scene with, it's a little cheesy. It's Sheriff Ali, so that would be Omar Sharif's character, basically saying, like, look, you can't do this. Like, you can't just go. We don't have enough people. We can't take this place. It's not going to happen, whatever. And he's like, do you think I'm just anybody? It's like, well, and then you find out he is just anybody real fast.
And he's so, I mean, the arrogance reaches stupid levels because he, as a Caucasian, decides to go into this Turks-controlled town.
Right.
And Omar Sharif is like, hey, we got to hide because guards saw him and they turned around. And he's like, no, we're fine. We're fine.
I'm an Arab.
No, you're fucking not. Your lack of self-awareness is astounding at this point.
Yes.
And then it's that scene we were talking about. He gets raped by the fancy boy Turk.
We imagine he does.
Yeah.
They don't show it.
But. And the really crazy thing is I never expected that to be in a movie that was made in the 1960s. Now, they handle it about as tastefully as you can for that subject matter, but that was truly shocking.
Well, even down to the performances in this, even down to that general guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just disturbing.
Oh, yeah. It was like watching a Quentin Tarantino character.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the characters here. So one that you might recognize in this is Prince Faisal is played by Alec Guinness.
Yep. Good old Obi-Wan.
Good old Obi-Wan is in this. This is, this is where he learned how to live in the desert. Playing an Arab
yes,
guy. Right. This is how they did it back then, folks. Now, Omar Sharif was Arab. Just put that out there. So that was a big deal at the time, too, apparently.
Yeah, well, and
he's really fucking good.
I think he might be my favorite character in the movie. Not only that, I think he might be, I don't know if he's the best actor, but he's damn close.
I mean, Peter O'Toole just deserves mountains of praise for this, though.
I mean, Peter O'Toole is great, but Omar Sharif, he just knocks it out of the park with every scene he's given.
Can you imagine that this was the introduction of Peter O'Toole? This was his first introduction.
Was it really?
Peter O'Toole, yes, and this is what he got.
Wow, that's nuts.
It is nuts.
That that will never happen. Well, actually, I guess
I'm sure there's cases of it.
Actually, I guess technically it kind of happened with Sam Worthington. I mean, I don't think that was his first movie, but it was his first
Avatar.
Yeah.
Well, he was in T4, wasn't he? At that point.
I believe that was that after. I feel like that was after.
I know I had seen him.
Okay.
In something.
Okay.
But either way, I mean, nobody's gonna. I mean, Avatar will be talked about. I guess we're talking about this for cinematography, but Avatar is going to be talked about it was the 3D.
Yeah.
Well, it's never, wasn't nominated for anything.
Right.
He doesn't give a great performance.
No.
I mean, he's fine.
Right.
But
you're right. I mean, the circumstances of basically an undiscovered being in a giant epic and giving this kind of performance will probably never happen again.
It's insane. Yeah. I mean, well, and it's funny too, because a little side note here. So, nowadays, everything's done digitally. Back then, this movie got thrown in a can and thrown on a shelf somewhere and left to degrade and got lost.
Yep.
I mean, it's just bizarre. So they actually, Peter O'Toole, I think it was probably 20 years ago or something, 30 years ago, they actually had to call him back and call actors from the movie back to do the lines over again because they wanted to remaster the film.
Yeah.
It's
Alec Guinness has this really weird scene.
Yes.
It's him and a reporter.
I like the reporter guy, too. That's an interesting character.
Yeah. And Alec Guinness is there's this weird sort of high-pitch hum every time he says his line. And I'm like, okay. And see, I didn't know that while watching it, so I was like, okay, they're in really tough shooting environments. It's entirely possible that they could have gotten shit audio. And this is just what happened,
Right.
And I was like, I was willing to forgive that because I'm like, look, this is crazy what they're doing here. And you have to deal with the limitations of your time.
Yes.
So,
So come to find out, that was probably a scene that was damaged.
Yes.
And the other actor or whatever actor came in and did the lines over again.
Right.
Had to dub it while it was on the screen.
Yep.
And one of the things somebody said to Peter O'Toole was like, God, you're almost better now than you were like when you filmed it the first time. And he's like, well, yeah, I've been, working for 25 years now. Like I had no clue what I was doing. Like, that's his first role. Like, it's insane.
That's nuts. It's very organic acting then, I guess, in that.
Yes.
There's no... I've heard things about, like, actors and how, like, they end up getting into ruts. Not ruts, but they have their own tics that and their own tricks that they end up falling back on. He didn't have any of that.
Right.
So that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's nuts. His character is so larger than life, and it's hilarious how, like, the character basically, like, you think a soldier is this, like, badass guy, but it's not. It's the opposite. He's almost like this, like, prissy boy.
Yeah. He's like a scholar.
And he's smarter than everyone, and he knows he's smarter than everyone.
Absolutely.
And it ends up turning him into a bit of a monster.
Yeah.
There's a great scene that I know you remarked on it, where he had earlier in the movie, there's this fantastic part where basically he comes up with this idea to attack Aqaba is the name of the town, I believe. Mm-hmm. And nobody thinks it's doable because in order to get to Aqaba, you either need to come from the sea where all the guns are pointing towards, or you need to cross this desert on like a 50-day journey to get to the backside of the town where they don't even guard it because it's not possible to get there.
Right.
So Lawrence says basically like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do this. And, this is before Omar Sharif has like decided to like him.
Yes.
So they're all telling him like, no, you're fucking nuts. We're not going across this goddamn desert. It's impossible.
They're quite bitter because it's like 25, 30 dudes who are like going to lose their lives because of his arrogance or his perceived arrogance.
Correct. So they do it, and one person falls off their camel.
Yeah.
And basically they get through the desert, and Lawrence is like, hey, where's what's his name? I don't know where he went,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't know, but he's done. He's gone.
Yep.
And Lawrence is like, no, it's, he's not gone, whatever. And they say, it is written, he was meant to die, whatever.
Yep.
And he turns around and goes and gets this guy.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and that's where the whole, like, nothing is written, Lawrence says. And basically this is where everybody turns around and is like, wow, this guy is like, they start treating him like he's a fucking god because he went and saved this guy. Well, it was impossible.
I didn't get the god thing quite then. What I got from him there was they were pumped to have somebody who they thought was only there to take advantage of them.
Yes, that's true. Good point.
Like, now they're like, oh man, not only does this guy like care, but he's like really interested in our culture. So he's like adopted into their culture.
Yeah, like Omar Sharif, when Lawrence is sleeping, burns his clothes.
Yeah,
and gives him the Arab clothes. Yeah. But anyways, this guy that he saved right before they get to Aqaba, he shoots he's also gone and gotten, and we should probably talk about this scene too, but we'll go back to it. Peter Quinn, or I'm sorry, not Peter Quinn. Anthony Quinn plays this other Arab leader, Auda Abu Tai.
Yeah.
Who's one of my favorite characters.
He's a great character.
Yeah.
He's like the Gimli of the movie.
Yeah, he's like the badass. But anyways, his crew has joined with Omar Sharif's crew to go attack this Aqaba. And somebody from Omar Sharif's crew shoots one of his guys.
Yeah.
And basically it ends up like being like, okay, well, it's done. We're not going to do it now because we can't get along. And Lawrence is like, well, wait a minute. Like if I shoot this guy, if I
because I belong to neither tribe.
Correct.
I can do this.
If I do this, like, are we good?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, we're good. It's funny how when I do the scenes over again, it's like an American in 2018 saying these lines.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Yes, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. But it ends up being the guy that he saved.
Right.
So it's like, oh shit. So
it
all for nothing. Was it written? Right.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yes, that's a great scene.
And that was I'd say that was the scene that I see. I don't want to say I was not intrigued in the movie because there was enough going on that I was like, this is really good. But it was the scene that really stuck out to me as like, wow, this is a not just a really good scene or impressive cinematography. This is good narrative structuring of the story. And that was when I really really got into the movie.
Well, and what's funny is like that's the quote unquote like, what is it, like halfway through the movie? It feels like the beginning, but it's not.
I feel like that was like a third of the way through the movie.
Okay, because I know they attack Aqaba, and then he goes back with the kid. And that's the other thing they have in this movie, too, that's kind of interesting, that you forget about it until you watch it every time, and it's such a huge part of the movie. Lawrence befriends these, like, two, like, kids.
Yeah.
Who are, like, you know, doing little odd jobs for him. And
they're orphans, and, like, they're basically like slaves.
Yes.
Like,
but he pays them like 2 pennies instead of just 1 or whatever. So they like love him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy that they both die like pretty brutal deaths.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dark.
But what I meant to tell that story about is we were talking about how Lawrence begins to like this. So after he's killed that guy, the guy who he saved.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's starting to realize that like this is getting the best of him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really think he should go back. And has to go report to Cairo like what he's found and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all like, this is like the greatest strategic move. Like I would have said it was impossible to accomplish what you have accomplished. Like, what do you mean? You have to go back. Like, you know, and he's like, no, I killed 2 people or whatever. And he's like, and I enjoyed it.
Yep, that was a great scene too. Because that didn't go the way I thought it would either.
Right.
Based on the personality of the character. But to the strength of the movie, it didn't feel contradictory. It didn't feel out of place.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I would say what's great about that is he realizes, I think it had become very hard on him.
Yes.
Because seeing the 2 kids killing a friend outright in cold blood, and then being the death of one of those kids on the way to Cairo.
Yes, that was the quicksand.
It broke him.
Right.
Because I think he could have dealt with, well, I had to do what I had to do. I had to kill that man. But for the kid, he takes real ownership of the kid. You know?
You know, there's another thing thematically in this movie that I think's interesting too, are the whole like Prince Faisal character and how he talks about how, old men make the peace and the young men fight and whatever. And it's just, there's so much in this movie that's just so damn like timeless.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the thing that I realized by the end. Like you're saying, that's a quote from the end
Towards
of the movie.
The end. Yep.
And that's when you sort of realize, this is a story effectively about PTSD. And
with him, for sure.
With wartime PTSD and how those in power can use the young or the military for their own gains, and they don't have any costs.
Correct.
It's like a large chess game for them. And that was amazing and poignant, and really, I cannot say it enough. For a movie that was made in, what was it, 1962?
62 is when it came out.
Yeah. For a movie made in 1962, to make that kind of point is astounding to me.
Yeah.
Considering that, I mean, you think about Leave It to Beaver was probably on the air. This sort of wholesome America narrative was very much prevalent in the early 60s.
Right.
You didn't have, the atrocities of Vietnam or whatever on TV. So we didn't question, the military. It was good things, military's good.
Yep.
Authority is good. And so for this movie to offer it up so complexly and to deal with PTSD before anybody even came back from Vietnam, amazing.
It is PTSD basically too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's,
it's astounding because he is not the same. He's not even close to the same dude he was when he left.
No.
He's broken.
No, he's totally broke. He's broken multiple times over in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so the quote is basically there's nothing further. He's telling Lawrence, like, basically you have used Lawrence, from both sides have used up Lawrence and are now done with him.
We're done. Yeah.
There's nothing further here for a warrior. We drive bargains, old men's work. Young men make wars, and the virtues of war are the virtues of young men, courage and hope for the future. Then old men make the peace, and the vices of peace are the vices of old men, mistrust and caution. It must be so. So basically, everything you guys fight for, like, fuck, well, we're going to be the ones that just, make sure that nothing really comes of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it was very
we'll
obviously...
find a peaceful solution that doesn't, fully satisfy the people who are dying and what they thought they came here to do.
Right. Well, yeah, because like I said, it's just it's negotiation. It was all negotiation, and it almost feels like the Prince.
Prince Faisal.
Prince Faisal. It almost feels like Prince Faisal was playing Lawrence from the beginning.
Yes, it absolutely feels that way.
And you can't help but feel a little horrified by the end of the movie, considering where Lawrence is at.
Well, it's funny because the end of the movie, so the movie starts with Lawrence dying in a motorcycle accident. He gets this nothing death that they start the movie with. Like,
I watched it and I was like, oh my God. I feel like this, it was like if Quentin Tarantino was making a movie from back in the day. Because one, the shot compositions were very strange. But two, this was a clear homage, in my eyes, to Citizen Kane.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, with the whole part with the actual funeral, with like the conversations with all the people. Yes. Hey, tell me about what you know about Lawrence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because I was like, yeah, this is like cinema homage, which is Tarantino's shit. So I loved that.
Well, neat little bit of homage. You might not remember this. It's probably been a while since you watched Prometheus. But do you remember the fact that David, has his entire character is formed based on wanting to be like Lawrence of Arabia?
Really?
Yeah. Like the way he combs his hair and his elegance and how he does everything.
I'm going to rewatch Prometheus.
So he's like in the Prometheus, he's watching Lawrence of Arabia when everybody else is passed out.
I do remember.
So yeah, David is, and it's amazing. Like the character is, and now that you've seen this, if you watch Prometheus again, it's more interesting.
Okay.
Because he's trying to be Lawrence.
That's really
fully.
Funny. That's really funny.
Yeah. Even the way he dresses and combs his hair and his way of speaking.
Yeah.
The way he
That's pretty cool.
That's really
it's
a nice, cool. Talk about an awesome homage to a movie.
Right.
Let's make a character, he's obsessed with Lawrence. He's a robot. He's obsessed with Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah. That's great. That is great. And it's great because you can do something interesting in that it's not just a human who's obsessed with it, it's a robot. So
correct.
You got it's this added like Lawrence was like the bridge between two people. And then eventually he was the bridge between multiple people. This bridge between the tribes. He was the bridge between...
You just reminded me of what was Kal-El and Man of Steel. You will be a bridge between two peoples.
There are so many shit movies that are being brought up in our lovely discussion of Lawrence of Arabia. But yeah, he's this bridge of two people, and it's almost like that's what David was trying to be.
Well, and I don't think you never really figure Lawrence out. That's what's interesting, too. At the end of the movie, it's like... You still haven't really, you wish you could dive into his psyche because he's so all over the place. And it's not in a bad screenplay, bad character way. Mm-hmm. It's maybe nobody did ever figure this guy out. You know, he just died on a bike.
See, that was the interest. I think that was the most, I feel like, I don't want to say I figured him out, but I feel like I really understood him.
Okay.
I don't want to say I would know what he would do in any situation, obviously.
Right.
But I felt like I really understood him. But the ending, or rather the beginning where he dies on the bike.
About breaking a cardinal rule of storytelling.
Well, that's what Citizen Kane did.
I suppose.
I mean, that's why it's
yeah.
It's why it's so great.
Right.
It gets you into an interesting situation of why are all these people talking about him? But anyways, the thing that I don't understand about Lawrence is, did he kill himself? Was that an intentional death?
No, I think that you're learning about how arrogant he is before you really know. Because, I mean, he's just cocky even on his motorcycle drive. He's trying to capture that, essence of what he now doesn't have anymore, which is like this dangerous, that's the way I take it.
Okay. Because, I was watching him and in retrospect, after watching the film, I was like, but it almost doesn't make sense to me how he would get from here or from that depressed state, that broken and used state that he was when Prince Faisal makes those statements, to all of a sudden sends him on his way, to all of a sudden doing this. I'm like, is this a way of getting out? I don't know.
I think I just think that he's just a cocky fuck.
Okay.
I don't know. He went and wrote a book after all that shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
maybe. Yeah, I mean, you might be... now knowing that he's a real person, that really sort of changes.
That's funny. You didn't realize he was a real person.
Yeah,
huh?
no,
So you watched that movie without the...
No, I thought that was like I thought this was like a nice what if.
No, it's based on a true story.
Because it does have that sort of, white savior thing that we like to see, or, West narratives like to sort of do every now and then. And so I was really surprised it was a real thing.
No, it's a real thing. Like, what a fascinating guy he must have been to even inspire like a fiction. I mean, obviously probably wasn't just like this, but,
right?
But yeah, I mean,
well, because I'd imagine there'd be a lot of people if he really acted the way that Peter O'Toole did it. Yeah, there'd be a lot of not just Arab people, but everybody who'd be like, he's gay.
Yeah, and they did apparently.
Everybody
figured he was gay.
He's gay, and I would think that would have changed the way that people hurt
at the time.
Yeah. So I'm like, he really had an uphill battle if that's what everybody thought about him too.
Yeah, I mean, they did. I mean, the movie tries to toe the line where it's like nobody knows he's gay.
Right.
But they do, right away you pick up on it.
Well, because
I think he might be gay.
Yeah.
There
are... What? No women in this movie?
So there's the women, the Tuscan Raiders. They were women. Like there's a scene where literally like they're going off to war or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going off to the desert, and all of a sudden there's like these
all the wives are just sort of
like
doing
the
that
Tuscan Raider.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me of like the
Yep.
But there's them, and then there's some dead women in that town towards the end. When the Turks have gone through and killed all those people in that town, and Lawrence breaks and is like, "Fuck it."
You're right. We see two women that we actually know for sure are women.
Yes.
Dead.
Yes. This is not a representative movie of today's society.
Well, and it doesn't need to be because it's a movie about war. And I think it makes sense for the time that there wouldn't have been women in the battlefield. And they did put them in the scene that would make sense.
Yes.
That scene though, where he becomes vengeful because of that one guy's town who everybody was dead in. And so they go and they decide to attack the Turks rather than meeting up.
They could just go around them and avoid the conflict completely because they're going to Damascus.
Yes.
Is the goal.
Yes. And they're supposed to meet the British military there and be like cavalry.
Yeah, they want to beat them there.
Yes.
Because Lawrence wants the Arabs to have this town, not the British.
Yes. And I will say that, everybody was kind of gave him a hard time after he
attacked
them. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, but this is war. And
I mean, we all saw what happened to Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan when he let that one guy go.
Yeah.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, so I didn't really understand why they were trying to give, I get the intent behind it was different than what had happened before.
Right.
But it's like, you've been killing numerous people on trains, for months.
It's true. Yeah. You've been bombing trains. I mean, most of them were like trains that had, they were like, cargo trains, but But yeah, it's funny. It's like you watch the movie again. I hadn't watched it in a while. Like I forgot about that whole train part, and that's like a huge part of the movie. Like every time I've ever watched it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We're coming up on this part.
I really feel like
there's the newspaper guy who like turns him into this larger than life character.
Yep.
You know,
that was the scene when with the train scene. The first train scene is when you really realize that it has gone to his head.
Yes. And he's like dancing up on top of the train.
He gets shot in the shoulder. Sort of acts like it's not a big deal, but he was being an idiot for even standing where he was standing without inspecting the area.
He gets shot in the shoulder and then like just stands there.
Yeah.
And lets the guy try. The guy fires off a few more shots and misses.
Yep.
But
that speaks volumes about where he is mentally.
Well, and it's funny, and like during this whole part, like basically this is like the beginning of the second act of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he has gotten, we brought up Auda Abutai, the Anthony Quinn character, who's like the, you know.
God, he's great.
He is really good. But you start to realize like Lawrence, like all these people basically are just trying to get like something. Yeah. They want to get like an item or, you know, make this worth it. And then they'll go home until they need, you know, to be satisfied again.
Yeah.
But Lawrence just is like, they'll be back. And everybody's looking at Lawrence, like you're losing your entire army because they don't care about this. They just, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happens nowadays too. I mean, we go into these places. We might take out, you know, and I'm no expert on foreign affairs or whatever, but we go, I mean, America messes with areas of the world.
Yeah.
We might have good intentions, some good intentions and some bad, whatever.
Right. Yep.
But when we leave, it's like, we can't just expect them to care as much about these values that we cherish here as we do.
Right.
And that kind of happens in this movie where it's like, stop being at each other's throats, but they have different, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's one of those things where it's very easy for an outsider to sort of come in and say, well, you guys are acting nuts. Well, yeah, but you weren't raised in this culture. You weren't, you know, you weren't brought up with these prejudices and you don't have this history.
Correct.
So it's tough.
But yeah, that Ada Abutai is like, he's like the proud Arab. There's a great scene. One of my favorite scenes is when they first Sharif Ali, Omar Sharif plays him, and Lawrence go. They're trying to bring him in.
Yeah.
And basically they said, you know, he's like I don't give a shit if the Turks are here. Like they pay me money. Whatever.
Yep.
And it turns into this thing where basically Lawrence is like, oh, so you serve the Turks.
Yeah.
And the guy like it pisses him off because he's like, I don't serve anybody. You know how much they pay me? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Like you're paid by them for a service.
Yeah.
Like,
usually it's the servant who gets paid.
Right. Exactly.
Is what he says.
And then he goes on this tirade about like this great performance piece, little monologue about how he's a river to his people.
Yes.
Like I get all this money, whatever, and I'm poor.
Yeah.
Because it all flows to my people. And there's like these cheering, you know, all extras.
Yep.
Like, and fucking great.
And you get that. Like, you get the character.
Oh, immediately. Yeah.
That's why I say, like, he kind of feels like if Gimli were a king. Because he's
King Gimli.
King Gimli. He's generous. He's loving with his people, but he's, you know, pig-headed.
Yes.
He's a man's man, but like a gruff man's man.
He's got a big fake Arab nose because he's played by a white guy.
Yep. Yeah, so there are prosthetics on their face.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of that character, like the different scenes of just the conversations in the tents and stuff are really good.
Yeah.
The first Prince Faisal one's good too, with the little jackass guy who's like trying to keep Lawrence.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut while we discuss these things. You know?
And then Lawrence starts quoting the Quran.
Yes.
And you're like, boom. That's a mic drop moment for him because it's like, for a white dude at that time to know the Quran, fuck, I don't care what this other dude.
Yeah.
This dude could be giving blowies to all all the fucking Sharifs.
I'm pretty sure, he'd be kicked out of the tent, I think.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
but no, that's a great scene. And right away, Prince Faisal's like, what is it with this guy?
Yeah.
And all of that is perfectly done.
Yep.
As far as like, okay, I understand what's going on here.
Yep.
It's funny because it's a really long movie.
Yeah.
Grand and epic in scope. It's a huge movie. I can't even imagine how they made it. The plot points and like the actual story you could whittle down.
Oh yeah,
pretty easily.
You could whittle it down. I mean, I said that when we finished the movie. I was like, you can really sort of feel where the cuts would go
today.
Right. And I feel like it would be whittled down to probably a 2.5 hour movie.
Sure.
And
they did it for TV, by the way. I've never watched it, but there is a cut for TV version of Lawrence of Arabia.
Well, see, what I feel like is what you'd really need to do is you'd need to do a little bit of a script rewrite where you write out some things.
Sure.
Because I don't think it's just as simple as cut a scene. Because you cut certain scenes and then another scene later on doesn't work as well.
I mean, you could do things like we talked about the introduction of Omar Sharif.
Yeah.
But that scene is destroyed.
Yeah.
As far, like you don't hold the shot there and wait for him to come to the camera. I mean, it's
iconic, and I feel like you need that entire conversation.
Oh, it's so good. He just comes up and fucking kills. We didn't even say that. So he comes up and just fucking kills the buddy.
And then Omar Sharif becomes his best friend.
Yeah, by the end, right. Well, and that conversation's great too. What does he say? He says something along the lines of like, he was my friend. Like, I only give my name to my friends.
Yes.
And what's his Omar Sharif's just like, fuck you. Like,
whatever.
All right, I'm
English.
Going. Yeah, right.
English. I liked that too. I liked that they called him English. I thought that was a nice little thing.
Yeah. Little did they know that he would be, like Omar Sharif loves him by the end.
Yep.
I mean, there's a scene towards the end where they've gotten to Damascus and it's just squabbling over like getting the waterworks and electricity and phones working and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And none of these people have ever had to work together or run any sort of a society like this.
It's almost comical.
Oh, it's
with some of the shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was meant to be comical.
I think it a little bit.
Okay.
But then like Lawrence is trying to hold it all together and it just falls apart and everybody leaves, and there's a scene where Omar Sharif leaves the place like crying.
Yep.
And he's like, God, if I feel terrible about this, like, and whatever, like, I can't imagine how he feels right now. Well, like, he's given his everything to this.
Well, and what's the name of the Gimli?
Auda Abutai.
Auda Abutai actually approaches Omar Sharif and he goes like, he's like, you love him. And he's like, I fear him and love him.
Yep.
And I was like, that is powerful because the kind of opposing sort of viewpoints, feelings to have about a person. And it sort of speaks to what you're talking about where the character is really complex.
Yes, he's very complex. And I would argue that you never really get him down. Like, there's never a moment in the movie where you know exactly what Lawrence is going to do given a certain circumstance, whether he'll do the morally just thing or the fucked up thing.
Right.
Like, you think you're starting to, and then something will happen.
I think he's got a clear conscience and a clear, not clear as in he has no guilt, but I mean, he has a clear sort of a moral guideline. So I can say that there are certain things that he probably wouldn't do in a certain situation.
Sure.
Like even like killing his best, or not his best friend, but killing his friend.
Yep.
When he had to. I felt like that really fell within his lines.
Yes.
Of morality.
True. Yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I feel like in that regard, I don't want to say I could never predict what he would do. I feel like by the end, because he's so broken, I do feel like he's probably he just wants out. He is done.
Well, it's funny because he wants out, but you still feel bad because it's like they do just like crumple him up like a piece of paper and throw him away once they're done. That he's had his uses.
He's just the refuse that's left.
Yep.
From what was Lawrence, and I thought that was great, and that's why, like I said, I go back to the beginning. I'm like, how could somebody be a shell of a person at the end of this, and then go back to this, riding a bike and just being all,
Oh, like, maybe you're right. Like, I don't think that he purposely tried to kill himself. I just think, he probably just doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, if I die, I die.
It's really great, too, how, I mean, that's a rewarding moment in the movie where, because the movie starts with, like, this news guy, like, hey, what did you know about Lawrence? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And, like, you get a few answers from random people who you meet along the way. And then at the end of the movie, like,
you see those
people and you're like, oh, that's great. Yeah. Like the one guy who like worships him, who doesn't realize that he punched him in the face at the hospital or whatever.
Yep. That was great.
He sees him. He's just, oh, Lawrence. Like I shook his hand once. You know? Yeah.
Oh, I liked, what was one of my favorite? One of my favorite bits was actually early on, and this was once again the cinematography. One, the opening shot is fucking awesome. Like it's just the bike, but it's at that angle with the shadow, and he's like cleaning it, or he's filling
from
it
above, kind of. Yeah,
and I was like, that's fucking great. Yeah. Like that is such a cool looking shot.
God, the amount of great shots.
But then when he's riding the bike, I was impressed with how good the camera work was on him riding the bike and them conveying the increasing speed as he's traveling through. I was like, this is really good.
You just feel like, oh, something bad's happening.
Yeah,
here.
This was like, Italian Job sort of level of like, wow, you guys are doing a great job with a moving object and a vehicle. Right. When at the time it was like, well, we'll just take it, put it on a tripod, and we'll just have the car come into frame.
Correct.
So I was like, that great.
But yeah, I mean, that I just real quick, the score we haven't touched on, is great. Hopefully we can put a little bit of the score in here for you, and then the awards it won: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Score, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. Now, both Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif were nominated for their roles as actors. Neither won.
Wow.
So I would love to see who won.
They basically won everything that makes a movie.
Yes.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see why.
Right. But, and I seriously, I mean, we talk about it now. You're not going to see something like that again, where somebody sweeps in such a big way.
Yeah, what would the last? I suppose Return of the King crushed it, but that was kind of a we're giving them everything because of the whole overall scope of the achievement.
Yes, yeah. Which is sad because I feel like Return of the King is maybe the weakest of the three.
My favorite.
Is it really?
Yes. But I like it because I read the books and I felt like they did a really good job specifically in that movie of capturing the essence of the book.
Right.
The first one is probably the best movie.
Yeah, I think it's got the best narrative.
Right.
From A to B. But I mean, you're just not going to see that sort of like sweeping take of everything that's
it's
super
nuts.
Because like there's too much competition now in film and there are too many competent people working at similar levels.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah. Good movie. It does feel its length.
Yes. But if you're in the mood for it, I mean, sit and, our problem too is we were pretty hot because my AC where we watched it wasn't in the best spot, but
it was all right.
But
it got us in the mood for the movie. We were in the desert with them.
Yeah, right. Think about, they filmed in that shit.
I can't even imagine.
They had tent cities built to live in like 130-degree desert heat.
You got to wonder, like, what was the catering like in that situation?
Oh, they had bars and shit built.
Wow.
Yeah, they had like little cities built. It's kind of crazy. If you want to, I mean, I would recommend seeing the movie, but I mean, just out of curiosity, just look up some of the shit about it. I mean, it's fascinating how they made it. So.
But yeah, that's our first episode of Bored and Annoyed with Classics.
I do love that name. Yeah,
it's very deceiving because more often than not, we'll like them.
Right. I mean, we might run into some we don't like.
Oh, I'm not going to sugarcoat my feelings just because it's a quote-unquote classic.
Oh, a quote-unquote classic.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Should we, like, that's the giveaway? If we list it on the website and it has quotes around classic, then
then
you might be in for a treat.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is like everything you have to remember comes out in its time period. And something can work for it. Like this makes complete sense why it would be this length, because this is how you create an epic narrative for a time when there's virtually no TV like this. There is no TV.
Well, yeah,
like
people
this.
were just going to the theater and in awe of what they were seeing on the screen.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was nowhere else you could get this.
Right.
So you had to create something crazy like this.
No, it probably ended and they were like, "Oh God, I wish it was longer."
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I mean, it's the
and
same.
I actually did have the opportunity to see it on a big screen. I would someday like to see it in 70 millimeter, like real 70 millimeter film.
Right.
But I did see it on a big screen. It's still fucking great on a big screen.
Oh,
as you can imagine.
Yeah,
I mean,
yep. Oh yeah, with those vistas.
The vistas.
So many vistas.
Yeah, there's tons of vistas.
That's a Red Letter Media reference for you guys. But thanks for listening, guys. Let us know if you want us to continue to do these. We're thinking about doing, about one a month right around there.
Something like that. Or we can do, we could do one on a universally panned movie. Or
I'm
whatever.
Born annoyed with pans.
Right. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll do another one soon.